sparring club is coming. November 14th, London. Mark your diary. See you there, you f***ing tart.
Boxing King Media is Sunday morning. We've got Spencer Fearon in to spread some wisdom and knowledge on this beautiful this morning. The sun is shining, but it's cold. Spencer, you got a hoodie on, so I suspect you've not got the heating on today.
No, I just got this hoodie on because I just like to always big up the Pentecostal Community Bank. It's my second year anniversary with me working with them, and it's the first bank ran by African Caribbean descents in the UK. So off of the back of that, massive big up to them, and also a massive belated happy birthday to Miss Elaine. And also yesterday was Clifton Mitchell's birthday, and I couldn't be at his party because I was filming for the BBC. We're doing something for the BBC on the history of boxing, so I couldn't be present. So my apologies for that.
Big up Clifton Mitchell, one of the great guys.
One of the real ones, man.
Definitely one of the realist in boxing. So let's talk about last night's boxing, Spencer. I'm gonna speak about Liam Cameron's fight and Joshua Buatsi's fight together, but I'm gonna start with Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur gets dropped early. He comes in with a heavy onslaught from Brad Ray, but fair to say, he literally like woke up and flipped the fight.
He did, and all the credit in the world should be given to Lyndon Arthur, because he got knocked down very, very heavily. But this is when you got wily old skills, and I'm glad that he was able to demonstrate against such a really good competitor. Because that Brad Ray, all the credit in the world should be given to him as well. I remember watching his fight when he won the European title against Shakan Peters. That was a really, really entertaining. It was a GBM show, right? That was a really entertaining fight. So, on a fight like that, which is so competitive, where two men won it in the way that they won it, like, even though there's a loss on the record, there isn't really a loss because they really gave it their all. So, all the credit in the world should be given to both men.
What is it about Lyndon? Because this has happened before where he starts off really slow and he just switches on. Is this like just some fighters are like that or what? Because when he woke up, he put on a boxing masterclass.
He did. But, I also think, like in the old days when we had 15-round fights, somebody like Lyndon Arthur will be better suited to that. He's got an excellent jab, right? And he doesn't administer it enough. And then when he starts to wake up to start throwing it, it's like he's like a confidence fighter. Like, I just want to have a look first to see what you got. I don't want to take no chances. And then he builds into the fight. And that's how he fights. And that's been him way from in the amateur. I remember seeing him in the amateurs from way back when he fought Joshua Buatsi. So that's just his style. But I'm very, very happy for him. He's a decent human being. And, he's European champion now. Like, no matter what happens, nobody will ever be able to take that away. That is a very, very high accolade to hold that crown. We've had some great fights from the UK in the light heavyweight division that have been European champion, and now Lyndon Arthur's one of them. So all the credit.
Would you want to see him fight next?
Who would I want to see him fight next? Realistically, I'd like Ezra Taylor to get a shot at him, right? Especially because Ezra Taylor didn't get the shot at the British title. Was it like last month? He didn't, unfortunately. So maybe Ezra Taylor, because I know he sat ringside, and that would be a good fight. But the thing is, it's about trajectories and where somebody like Lyndon Arthur sees himself. Lyndon Arthur is like, listen, I've already fought for a legitimate world title, and I fought gallantly against Bivol. And I have a win over Anti-Yard. It's 2-1 to Anti-Yard. Hopefully Anti-Yard comes out successful. You never know. I don't know where his mind is, but to be a good fight because it would be a very skilled fight. I'm a person who enjoys watching the finer arts of skill, but first, I think Ezra Taylor needs to take care of that Louis Edmondson if he gets the opportunity to fight him. Hopefully that is. And then it could be a British and European, just like the old days when we used to have British and European clashes happen in Great Britain. How cool is that?
Definitely would. And it was literally a bit of a light heavyweight fest last night, and then Liam Cameron, probably probably I'd say it was very tight between that and the Lyndon Arthur fight, but probably the fight of the night. Uh, Liam Cameron versus Troy Jones, back and forward fight. Troy started off strong. Liam came back in the middle, and the last few rounds were kind of 50-50. I've seen two narratives. One of the narratives is people are saying Troy Jones got robbed. He should have won the fight. I've seen a lot of people saying that online. But the other aspect of it is, which a lot of people ringside, and this is mainly people that are watching it ringside that picked up this observation that Troy Jones did throw a lot of punches, but he was punching Liam Cameron's gloves and elbows quite a lot. And a lot of people said that to me last night. So you tell me, did the right guy win? It is the fact that he threw.
I'd like to. No, do you know what? This word robbery gets branded around a lot, and what I am going to say is this: is that both men fought their heart out, right? But my heart does go out for Troy Jones, right? Because it was a close fight, but close fights are not robberies. Close fights are close fights, and there lies the difference. It's like on certain times when you have an affinity or an affiliation with somebody, you'll be edging out for them to think to yourself, yeah, it was a robbery because I'm affiliated with them, and you're going to be emotionally attached. But if you take yourself out of it, which is very, very difficult to do because everybody does it, we do it for people down the road for you. You do it for someone who's you can find a common ground or similarity. You'll roll with that. But to be honest and look at the fight, the right man won because he got the decision. But there is a massive argument to say that Troy should have got that decision. He didn't get it. And that's life. And he can come back again. But I'm actually happy for Liam Cameron. I saw that Lee and my good old buddy, he posted like when Cameron came back into boxing, all he wanted to do was to have enough money to pay for a deposit and win a belt. And now he's won a belt and he's paid off for his house. So how nice is that? You know what I mean? It's nice because like good guys don't always come last. It's a good thing, right?
100%. I think his initial aim was to earn 20 grand. He
Right.
had a few zeros on that now.
Exactly. So I mean, salute to him for that, man. He's a nice guy as well. He's a very likable guy. So I wish him all the best in his future. But you never know what could happen here. You know what I mean, maybe he could get slipped in for a European title shot against Lyndon Arthur. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, gave him a hard fight the first time round.
He gave him a really hard fight the first time around.
Yep. And then the main event, I think the biggest talking point in that fight was, well, I'll start with the first one. Was that a robbery? You've given an explanation about Liam Cameron's fight, but was that a robbery? Because people have been shouting and screaming about that one. Buatsi, Zach Parker.
It wasn't a robbery.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't a robbery. But I'm going to be honest with you. It was a very hard fight to judge, right? But what I am saying is this. It wasn't a robbery, but the wrong guy got the decision.
Okay.
Right? And I'm being real. And I'm pretty close to Joshua Buatsi, but I have to be honest. I can't. You know what I mean? I think it was over 10 rounds. I saw Carl Frampton. I rate Carl Frampton. I've known Carl for many a year. And I rate his opinion, right? And I think he had it 9-1, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be very difficult of a learned man, a two-time world champion, right, who hasn't got any personal affinity to either fighter, right?
Yeah.
For him to say he scored it 9-1. So you said, then maybe you're being biased. And at that 9-1, I could give like 3 more rounds to the opposing fighter. That was Joshua Buatsi. I'll give 3 more rounds to Joshua Buatsi, right? That would be
6-4.
Right, 6-4. And if it was 6-4, then you didn't win the fight. What I'm saying is this. I think with Joshua Buatsi, he's got an identity crisis. And his identity crisis, he doesn't realize who he wants to be. Do you want to be a fighter or do you want to be a boxer? Right? Or do you want to be a fighter boxer or a boxer fighter? Who do you want to be? I think there's a little bit of an identity crisis there. Right? And whereas I see like people have looked at his fight with Callum Smith and said, well, I've kind of figured how to fight you. And not only that, we also got to take into consideration he did come off of a losing undefeated record out in Saudi Arabia. And we don't know how that's affected him psychologically. We don't. We like to think we do, but we don't, because we're not really psychologists. So me being honest, I'm saying if he lost the fight, which many people are saying that he lost the fight, right? If he lost the fight, you can't really run it back because unfortunately, Parker's name's not big enough to run it back. And also, Joshua Buatsi has to make a conscious decision to realize my fighting style and stick to his fighting style. Right? It's called boxing. It's not fighting. It's called boxing. Right? It's the pugilistic arts. And the pugilistic arts, as you know, it's a Latin word that means boxer. Doesn't say fighter. It says boxer. So I think you should decide where you want to be or how you want to behave in fights. Because I thought it was a good thing that you went to Virgil Hunter, right? But Virgil Hunter isn't an aggressive-based trainer. He's a skills person. So I think that Joshua Buatsi should really come to the realization of how he wants to fight, because he's got the talent to do it, but it's how he wants to fight.
Two questions with regards to that. The first one is you kind of just suggested that maybe he needs to change. So who is the right person to take?
No. When I'm saying he needs to change mentally. Got nothing to do with who's training him.
Okay.
He needs to make a conscious decision about who he wants to be. This is the entertainment business. And I've seen this for a little while. I saw this when he was at Boxer, when I'm saying, right, when is it going to be the time for you to properly go and entertain us? And it took a little while, right?
Yeah.
I found his fight against Dan Aziz as a very entertaining fight, right? But I'm saying, but the fights prior to it, it wasn't entertaining. Now, the realization is that you have to be switched on as a fight. It's entertainment. You got to be switched on all of the time. And I know there could have been some little demons that you need to eradicate because you're coming off the back of a loss, so you could have things in the back of your head. But I have to be real, and I'm saying this out of love, and there is no addictive feelings behind it, because anything that you say these days, especially people, they could take it the wrong way and get rubbed up by it, but it isn't. I'm just saying that Joshua Buatsi, you need to fight better than this to go to where you're meant to go. You know what I mean? Because there is potentiality where we believe where you could go, and I think that's been kind of scarpered because you're coming off a loss against Smith. Or there's actuality, and actuality is what we actually saw last night. And what we saw last night didn't cut it for you to say that you're going to the top level. And I believe that you can go to the top level, but you can't go to the top level performing like that.
Last question on Buatsi, and this is another narrative I've seen a lot this morning. Has something been taken out of him in that Callum Smith fight, whether it's confidence, the mental game, whatever? And does that actually happen to fighters where if they go from a brutal fight, it can knock their confidence in letting their hands go, etc.?
Of course it can, but he wasn't knocked out. He wasn't badly busted up. He was outboxed. He was hurt a little bit, but he hurt his opponent a little bit. So no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's the case. You know what I mean? At all. I don't believe that's the case. What I do believe is that if Joshua Buatsi is to do anything, right, he needs to fix himself, because that wasn't it. Because now every fighter that knows, like, right, the way to deal with Joshua Buatsi is not to be engaging, right? Not to be engaging. It's to hit it and hop it. And Zach Parker fought a really, really clever fight. He really did. And when you said, oh, but he was throwing himself down on the ground, he wasn't, because you overall, because you are a physically strong man. But it's not your physicality that should be beating guys now. Right now, it should be your physicalities mixed with your IQ and intelligence. And unfortunately, you didn't bring that. And everyone was saying, no, that's not right. It was a robbery. You didn't win that fight. So he's going to go back and reflect. And we have to be honest. Otherwise, we're just blowing smoke up your private parts to make you feel good. And I know that you got to do better than that, bro. And I believe that you can do better than that. So next time you go out and fight, you better do better.
Okay. Let's see what happens with that, because I think Queensbury got loads of good light heavyweight fights they can kind of
Loads,
compete.
loads. Yeah, like I'm saying, anyone who's sitting down there would think like, yeah, I'd want to fight Joshua Buatsi right now. Anybody, and I know they're sitting down to think, all right, then hopefully Anthony Yard comes out successful against Benavidez, then we can have a big money fight with these two. Yeah, that fight has kind of lost its appeal, and that's the truth. It has lost its appeal. So, and is Joshua Buatsi going to say that I'm going to go down a level now? We don't know. You know what I mean? There are loads of light heavyweights out right now in the UK. So, you know what I mean? Lyndon Arthur just got a good win. Last week, like I said, Ezra Taylor got a good win. If I was Ezra Taylor, I would be calling out Joshua Buatsi. I'll be harassing Lee Eaton, who's a matchmaker for Queensbury. I'll be harassing him constantly. I'll be phoning Francis, Frank, George Warren. I'll be phoning them constantly saying, listen, man, let's get me that fight, get me that fight, get me that fight. Because we did see flaws there. And flaws that anybody who can box would think that they could exploit. But it's easier, you know what I mean? It's easier thinking than doing it, but we shall see.
Okay, well, move on, Spence. I think the other big story that's come out is a tweet from journalist Chris McKenna. I'm going to read out the tweet to you so we don't misquote anything. Chris McKenna reports, Anthony Joshua has spent time with Alexander Usyk's team as he looks set to change trainers before he returns from Daniel Dubois defeat in Feb 2026. So two big claims there. Obviously, this is not come from anyone from Team AJ. I've not seen any update from Eddie Hearn, but basically saying he's training with Alexander Usyk's team, and that I suspect would be his coach Yuri, and he's left Ben Davison.
Mm-hmm. And what? This is boxing. Fighters are allowed to change trainers, right?
Yeah, correct. Well,
Are they not? I'm just like when you're saying, "Oh, well, Anthony Joshua is not training with Ben Davison anymore," brother. Let me tell you this, yeah. The snippet that went viral was last year when Anthony Joshua got knocked out by Daniel Dubois, and Ben Davison's orders were to come in and throw the right uppercut, or come in and throw the uppercut, right?
yeah.
So, and he gets caught with that right. And now I just want you to know, I'm glad that we got on camera. Yeah, I want to show you something. Yeah,
Off
little
the jab.
something.
It was
Yeah?
off the jab though. The instructions were off the jab. Throw the uppercut off the jab.
All right, then, right. So listen. So you throw the jab. I'm going to show you plyometrics of boxing because sometimes people don't understand the plyometrics of boxing. I'm just going to show you this, right? You throw your jab, right? As you throw your jab, right, then you're going to throw the uppercut. As you throw the uppercut, what happens is your left shoulder comes back out. That leaves you open, right, to get caught with a right hand counter. And that's what happened, right? Yes? No?
Yep.
Did it happen?
He got caught with the right hand. He did.
Okay, right. Now I'm going to do it again. One more time, just to teach you lot. You throw the jab, right? And as you throw the jab, you come with an uppercut. This hand has to recoil back now. As this hand's recoiling back, it's still got to be in position, yeah?
Yeah.
And this comes back, and then you got to throw this. This shoulder comes out, leaving your left side open to a right hand shot. I've seen this happen on many occasions in boxing. Many occasions, right? But they were his orders. Now, I thought Ben Davison and his setup was quite good for Anthony Joshua, right? But on the same thing as this, Anthony Joshua is up there, and any trainer that he goes with, he makes the trainer, right? Because not that he makes a trainer because of he makes a trainer because of the financial rewards. He makes a trainer, right? So anybody be running for that spot, and you're gonna keep on picking up, and maybe sometimes it's not the trainer, right? Maybe sometimes Anthony Joshua needs to look into himself. And he's looked to himself and said, well, nah, I want to go elsewhere. Now, I've seen this before. If we go right back if we go back 1994, it's kind of crazy how far 1994 is right now. You know what I mean? Because that's like 31 years ago, nearly 32 years ago. That's nuts, right?
It,
Lennox Lewis fights, Lennox Lewis fights Oliver McCall. And Lennox Lewis gets knocked out by Oliver McCall, and we can argue it's a premature stoppage. But what did Lennox Lewis do? You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis picked up Oliver McCall's trainer, who was the late, great Emmanuel Stewart. And he picked him up from 94 to the end of his career. So Emmanuel Stewart was with him for a decade. So there must be something in him saying like, well, listen, you know, if you can't beat him, join him. And maybe that's what he's just taken on because, as we know, Usyk hasn't got long left in the sport. And maybe Anthony Joshua is saying, yeah, I want to go get some of that. I want to go learn some of that stuff because realistically, I ain't going to fight Usyk. And I think it's a good thing that Anthony Joshua's gone with Usyk's trainer. Simply because that shows to me that you really want to stay in this game and do something. That's what it shows me.
okay.
Because nobody in the right mind would go with somebody that has beaten you, thinking that right, well, we could potentially fight each other. It doesn't seem like they're going to potentially fight each other then, right? Usyk hasn't opened up. I ain't got long left in the game. Right, oh, cool. Anthony Joshua's trying to say that I'm still looking to get longevity and I need to learn certain things, right? It's going to be a bit difficult because you know when they say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's actually rubbish. You can teach old dogs loads of new tricks.
Let me ask you this question, Spencer. Obviously, this is all not factual. Well,
It's speculation.
speculation. That's what I was looking for. And you just did say Usyk's team, so I'm speculating again if it is Yuri. But one thing I know from Yuri, from personally knowing him, I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of time around Usyk's team. That Yuri speaks zero English. He's a very old school trainer. Had conversations with him through a translator, and one of the things he'd said to me once, I asked him if he would do an interview because I know there's not many interviews of him out there, and he said to me, if I do an interview, I'll upset a lot of people. And I said, why? He goes, because I speak the truth only, nothing else.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he's very old school, but he speaks no English. So you tell me, have you ever come across a situation where the trainer speaks?
Bro, you're talking to the wrong person. Let me go. Course, listen to me.
Um,
Ray Arcel's noted as one of the greatest trainers of all times. Okay? Of all times. He took a young Panamanian kid to the world title in 1972 when he knocked out Ken Buchanan in Madison Square Gardens. Okay? What Spanish did Ray Arcel speak? Zero. But he still trained one of the greatest lightweight of all time, Roberto Joan. So you got to understand, with training and stuff like that, it is, what is it? If I tell you, you'll forget. If I show you, you'll remember. And if I teach you, you'll understand. That is it. Okay? And I believe that if that is the case, and Anthony Joshua is there, him being shown, guys is going to say, like, you got to think about it. Right? You've got 4 punches on one arm, 4 punches on the other arm, and then you've got different angles of trajectory where you can throw them, right? That is usually done by pads and bag work, right?
Yeah.
So when you say he speaks zero English, it isn't. Boxing is a universal language, right? It's a universal language of demonstration. That's what it is. So I think that can still work.
What about like you made a good point earlier. Ultimately, Anthony Joshua is the one paying for the service of someone because there's a lot of people. If this does turn out to be a true story, and if he has left Ben Davison, no doubt he's going to come under fire, which is what normally happens. But is it a fair argument to say ultimately he's the one paying for the trainer? He's paying for the service? It's no different to us. Like I don't know. If you're going private for some health issue, we can choose which doctor we go to. He can choose whoever he wants because he's paying for it. So if he's in the last years of his career, it's his decision as a man if he wants to try something different just to gain some different knowledge.
Listen to me.
Fair statement.
Trainer, of course, it's a fair statement. Trainers who have been with Anthony Joshua have made bundles of money, right? Bundles. Me personally, you know me. I'm gonna be totally honest. I would like to see Anthony Joshua go back to Robert McCracken, right? Seriously. And as much as like Robert was under criticism, but Robert, I have to look at the body of work that Robert's done. You know what I mean? with guys who weren't expected to do anything, and they've done fantastically well. Right? I remember when Robert started off with the Hennessy group. Was it the class of 2002 or whatever, 2001? I can't remember what it was. Right? And then all them fighters there, and all the fighters, they had bigger profiles and being more talked about than Carl Froch. Carl Froch was the guy that came through. Right? All the other guys were getting sponsorships, and Carl never got nothing, and Carl was the one that came through. So I rate guys like that, Robert McCracken. So, and not only that, but what Robert McCracken done with AJ. But the thing about it is this: if you listen to everybody's opinion, like, you'll never get anything done. Anthony Joshua must believe that he's doing the best thing for himself. And like you're saying, he's the one that's paying people their bill. He's paying his way, right? And anybody in their right mind would say, "Oh yeah, I want to have the opportunity to work with Anthony Joshua, but I want to look at your track record." There was no, and this is no disrespect to Ben, because I like Ben, right? But there was no track record in Ben Davison. What have you done to say that you're working with, like, the heavyweight champion or former heavyweight champion of the world? What was your resume to build up there? Which kids have you taken to even win a Southern Era title to get your resume? There was nothing there. Don't get twisted. He's done great things after that, but what was your resume? So him going, that's no surprise to me. That's boxing. You know what I mean? I just hope that there isn't a fallout why he's left. I hope that's not the case. I just hope that he's trying to further his career. And he's only got one career. He's not going to... So if you change trainer, you change trainer. You know what I mean? And I know that your relationship with Ben wasn't like the relationship they had with Robert McCracken. You left Robert McCracken. And I'm trying to say, like, a lot of people could sit down and say, well, loyalty is royalty. But loyalty, you got to be loyal to yourself first. Right? And the only way that you can truly be loyal to yourself is to know thyself. And if you know yourself and you're comfortable with the decision that you make, end of the day, let me tell you this, people's opinions and everything else doesn't mean nothing. End of the day, all that matters is your wife and kids, if you get a wife, right? All that matters is your wife and children, your relationship that you have with your children, and your loved ones. So that's all. That is it.
Last question I've got for you, a bit of a side topic, because I think I'm going to put this bit out on TikTok, because I think it'd be a good conversation topic. I don't know if did you see the interview I did with Kell Brook a few days ago?
No, I didn't see it, bro.
Did you see the short clip?
Oh yeah, when you was out in Dubai, or was it? Was Dubai?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
go on.
short clip where he talks about how he got clean.
Okay.
Yeah, so he talked about how obviously he was addicted to drugs, alcohol after boxing. And there was a period where his life was on a big downward slope. And obviously he revealed for the first time publicly that it was actually Ebanie Bridges that got him clean. I just want to get your thoughts on that, and how, because you will have seen when people saw that they were together, we see, people come up with some crazy, wild assumptions about the relationship and them as people, etc. But behind that, what nobody knew was Ebanie Bridges, because of her previous life experiences, well, in Kell Brook's words, saved his life, got him off drugs, got him off alcohol. He's been completely clean for the last 2 years, and in his words, he's the happiest he's been in a long time.
Okay, and what do you want to say about that?
Just if you can kind of talk about how, as humans, we basically misjudge things, because obviously you will see that relationship publicly, it may appear something different.
Bro, I'm gonna be real with you, yeah? I'm gonna keep this thing totally 100. You see when it comes to men and women's relationships and that, I never ever judge, because you know what? You never know what's going on behind closed doors, right? And I'm not in no position to judge on anybody on that. I think it's a good thing that he can turn around and say she's been a pillar for him and she stood by him through, he was going through some really dark periods. And you hear loads of stories about Kell Brook, right? But the major thing is this: if that is now your support crutch to help you along the way, then God bless you and her. And even more so, you have both conjoined together to make life. You got a child together. You know what I mean? And all I say on that is, like, God bless both of you. When it comes to men and women situations and that, I don't get involved in that. I'm just gonna be real. I don't get involved in it. You know what I mean? Because I can hold my hands up and know, like, on those situations that I am no saint. You know what I mean? I'm no saint. So I'm not gonna cast aspersions, but yet only to be happy for them. You know what I mean? And that's that. I wish them both the happiness. It seems like they're happy. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my only thing. I just wish them the best of happiness. You know what I mean? I've known Ebanie for a hot minute. You know what I mean? I remember she used to come down Sky when I used to go down there, and she's a pretty cool girl. You know what I mean? And on the same thing, I'm turning around and I'm saying, like, I've known Kell when we used to call him Zeeks. So I wish them nothing but the best, my friend.
I think you kind of just gave the message within what you just said, that you don't judge couples and you stay out of that business.
Oh, not my business, bro.
That's what a lot of people should do online, because, like I said, you see some wild comments about them when they've got pictures together, etc. But
Bro, let me just tell you this, yeah? Or sorry to digress because you got me into it, right? I want people to realize this. What Kell Brook does in his private life, yeah, and what Bridges does in her private life, it don't affect nobody else but their private life. It don't. So I don't see like people online and blah. It's because they ain't got nothing better to do. So they're gonna pick to say what we're gonna talk about. What we're gonna talk about. I wish Kell Brook nothing but the best, my bro. Trust me. And like, and on top of that, you've created lives together. Nothing but the best. I'll tell you that now. People's personal lives, I don't really get involved in. But you want to talk boxing, I'm on it, man.
that's it, Spencer. Thank you very much.
No, and lastly,
Oh, go
this is
on.
what I'm saying to you. And lastly, and make sure you leave this in. We talk about the genocide that's happening in Palestine. There's also a genocide that is happening right now in Sudan. Right? So my prayers and best wishes to all my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and cousins that are in Sudan going through an atrocity. And the world is seeing this, and the world are going to pick up on this as well. But more people need to talk about what is happening down in Sudan, right? Because and I get a lot of stick from the black community. Oh, well, you're down for Palestine, and you're down for this, and you're down for that. But look, you're not saying nothing about what's happening in Sudan. Are you crazy? I speak about all things. And many times I've spoken about this on your channel. But I mean, what's going on there is atrocious, right? So yeah. You know what I mean? And my heart goes out to everybody out in Jamaica who suffered from Hurricane Melissa. You know what I mean? I'm doing some food aid with Al Medina 313 charity and also the Legacy Group. So yeah, that's my end of my rant. All right, my friend?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I want to pass our condolences to the people affected by this attack in Huntington last night as well at the station, where I think 9 people have been stabbed with life-threatening injuries. We're living in a crazy time, Spence. No matter where you are in the world, there's madness going off everywhere.
Yeah, there definitely is. My heart goes out to everyone in Huntington as well. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying like more importantly because life is life. And that's how I see things. I'm a humanitarian. Life is life. But what's happening in Sudan right now needs the world's attention.
Indeed. Spencer Fearon, thank you very much for your time, and we'll catch up soon.
Sparring Club is coming. November 14th, London. Mark your diary. See you there, you f***ing tart.